After 60, tired legs can show up during ordinary life. Maybe stairs feel heavier than before. Maybe a grocery trip leaves your legs drained. Maybe you stand in the kitchen, sit down, and notice that standing back up takes more effort than expected. Food may not explain that feeling, and food should not be treated like a cure for tired legs. But food can still support recovery in a practical way. The better question is not, which food is healthiest? The better question is, what job does this food do? Does it help support muscle maintenance? Does it help refill energy after activity? Does it add fluid? Does it make a meal easier to finish when appetite, chewing, or cooking energy are lower? That is the difference between a recovery role list and a superfood list. A food can be healthy, but still not be the strongest recovery support. Another food can look plain, but do a useful job. So today, we are ranking 10 familiar foods by recovery role, not by hype. Listen for 4 simple roles: protein anchors, energy refillers, hydration helpers, and meal completion supports. And before the list begins, one safety boundary matters. New, sudden, severe, one-sided, worsening, or unexplained leg tiredness should be discussed with a qualified professional. Tired legs can have many causes. Nutrition is one support area, not a diagnosis. Now, let's build the list from the bottom up. Number 10. Colorful vegetables and fruit. Colorful vegetables and fruit belong on this list, but not because they magically fix tired legs. They do not. They belong here because recovery after 60 is supported by the whole eating pattern, not by one food acting like medicine. A plate with only protein may miss fiber, fluid, vitamins, minerals, and the feeling of a complete meal. But a plate with only salad or fruit may also fall short. It may look healthy, but still not provide enough protein or energy after a longer walk, errands, or housework. That is why this category ranks number 10. It helps complete the pattern, but it should not carry the whole recovery promise. Frozen berries, sliced oranges, cooked greens, frozen mixed vegetables, or pre-cut vegetables can make meals easier. For someone tired after standing in the kitchen, frozen or pre-washed options may be more useful than an ideal meal that never gets made. The limit is important. Vegetables and fruit are not treatments for leg fatigue. Some people also need personal guidance around high potassium foods or vitamin K, especially with kidney disease or certain medications. So the role here is meal completion. Colorful produce is the support crew. It helps round out the meal. It is not the main recovery anchor. Number 9. Soups, stews, and smoothies. This next category earns its place because sometimes the hardest part of recovery is not knowing what to eat. It is getting the meal to happen at all. Soups, stews, and smoothies can help because they can combine several roles in one easier form. They can add fluid. They can be softer. They can carry protein, vegetables, beans, grains, dairy, or soy. For someone with low appetite or low cooking energy, a bowl or blended drink may feel more manageable than a full plate. Hydration matters here, but it needs careful wording. Reference intakes for total water are often listed around 2.7 liters per day for women and 3.7 liters per day for men from all sources, including foods and beverages. That does not mean every viewer should chase those exact numbers. Needs can change with body size, heat, activity, medications, health conditions, and clinician guidance. The practical point is simple. Fluids do not only come from a glass of water. Foods can contribute too. A chicken and vegetable soup, lentil stew, yogurt smoothie, or fortified soy smoothie may help someone get both fluid and food after errands or a long day. But this category can go wrong quietly. Canned soups can be high in sodium. Smoothies can become mostly sugar if they are made with juice and sweet ingredients, but little protein. Anyone with swallowing problems should not experiment with new textures without professional guidance. So the role here is hydration helper and meal bridge. This category does not rank higher because it depends on what is inside the bowl or glass. But when built well, it can make recovery supportive eating easier. Number 8. Potatoes and sweet potatoes. Potatoes and sweet potatoes may not sound like recovery foods. They are often discussed only through diet rules. But after activity walking, stairs, shopping, gardening, or standing for a long time, the body may need energy, not just protein. That is where carbohydrate-containing foods can have a useful role. Carbohydrates can help refill energy after activity. The strongest evidence comes from exercise settings, so this should not be turned into a sports rule for every older adult. But the basic idea still helps explain the role. Potatoes and sweet potatoes are familiar, soft when cooked, affordable for many people, and easy to pair with protein. That makes them useful energy refillers. A baked potato with cottage cheese, a small sweet potato with fish, or potatoes in a stew may support recovery better than a meal that is light but leaves the body underfed. The potassium point needs care. Potatoes and sweet potatoes can contribute potassium, and potassium supports normal body function. But potassium should not be framed as a cure for tired legs, cramps, or weakness. Some people with kidney disease or certain medications may need to limit potassium. Others may need help with blood sugar management or portion size. So this category is useful, but not universal. The role here is soft energy refiller. It ranks below the protein anchors because it does not do the main muscle support job by itself. But it belongs on the list because recovery after 60 is not only about repair, it is also about having enough fuel for the next walk, the next staircase, or the next ordinary day. Number 7. Oats and whole grains. The same energy role can show up earlier in the day. Oats and whole grains can turn breakfast or lunch into a steadier recovery supportive meal. They provide carbohydrate energy, often some fiber, and a simple base for adding protein, but they are easy to misunderstand. A bowl of oats can be a very good meal base. It is usually not a strong protein anchor by itself. That distinction matters. Many people think in labels. Oats are healthy, so oats must be enough. Sometimes they are part of enough. Sometimes they need help. For example, oats with Greek yogurt, milk, fortified soy milk, or cottage cheese on the side can become more complete. Eggs nearby can also help. The oats support energy. The protein food supports the muscle maintenance side. That is the recovery thinking this video is building. The question is not, are oats good? The question is, what role are they playing? For someone who wakes up with low energy, or comes back from a morning walk and does not want a heavy meal, oats can be familiar and gentle. Whole grain toast, brown rice, barley, or whole grain pasta can play a similar role in other meals. The caveat is that blood sugar goals, appetite, digestion, and portions vary. Whole grains should not become a rule for everyone. The role here is energy refiller and meal base. Oats and whole grains rank above potatoes because they often fit into more daily meals, especially breakfast. But they still sit below foods that can carry more protein responsibility. And that brings us to the middle of the list. Protein matters after 60, but the best recovery meal is rarely just one nutrient. The next foods start to connect energy, protein, budget, and meal completion. Number 6. Beans and lentils. Beans and lentils are easy to underrate if we only judge foods by protein density. Cooked lentils provide about 9 grams of protein per 100 grams. That is useful, but not as dense as many animal proteins or some soy foods. That number explains why beans and lentils are not ranked with the top protein anchors. But that does not make them weak foods. It means they have a different job. Beans and lentils bring protein, carbohydrate, fiber, minerals, and budget practicality together. They can make a meal more filling and more complete. They can stretch soups, stews, rice bowls, salads, or leftovers. Canned beans can be especially helpful when cooking energy is low. For some people, rinsing beans or choosing lower sodium options may matter. Their recovery role is mixed, part protein support, part energy support, and part meal completion support. That can be very valuable in daily life after 60. Think of lentil soup after errands, beans added to a baked potato, chickpeas mixed into a grain bowl. These are not miracle meals. They are practical ways to keep the body from running on too little. The limitation is tolerance. Beans and lentils can bother digestion for some people. Canned versions can bring sodium. And because they are not the densest protein foods, some meals may still need another protein anchor. So the role here is budget meal builder. Beans and lentils rank in the middle because they do several jobs well, even if they are not the strongest single protein anchor. Number 5. Tofu, tempeh, and fortified soy milk. If beans and lentils are mixed roll foods, soy foods move closer to the protein anchor side. Tofu, tempeh, and fortified soy milk can be useful because they offer a plant-based protein option that is different from beans. This matters for people who eat less meat, avoid dairy, want variety, or need softer choices. Fortified soy milk can help at breakfast. It can go into oats, smoothies, or cereal. Tofu can go into stir-fries, soups, or soft meals. Tempeh may work for some people, though the texture is not for everyone. The key word is fortified when talking about soy milk. Not all plant milks do the same job. Some are mostly water and flavor, with little protein. Others are fortified and closer to a useful meal support role. Labels matter here. This category ranks number 5 because it gives the list a protein anchor that is not meat, fish, eggs, or dairy. The limitation is that soy is not right for everyone. Some people have soy allergies. Products vary widely. And if someone has a medical diet or a condition that affects protein needs, individual guidance matters. The role here is plant protein anchor. This category helps keep the list flexible. Recovery supportive eating after 60 should not require everyone to eat the same foods. It should help each person find the role they need in a form they can use. Number 4, poultry and lean meat. From here, the ranking moves into denser protein anchors. Poultry and lean meats are familiar main meal proteins for many older adults. Cooked chicken breast is commonly around 30 grams of protein per 100 grams, depending on preparation. That is why foods like chicken or turkey can carry the protein responsibility of a meal more easily than foods that provide smaller amounts per serving. This matters because protein needs after 60 are often discussed above the basic adult minimum. Some expert groups commonly discuss about 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day for many older adults. That number is not a personal prescription. Needs vary with health, activity, illness, and medical guidance, but it explains why protein anchors rank high in this video. When someone over 60 feels drained after normal activity, the answer is not automatically eat more meat. But meals that often fall short on protein may make it harder to support muscle maintenance over time. Poultry or lean meat can fit at dinner, in soup, in a sandwich, or as leftovers added to lunch. The role is simple: dense protein anchor. The limitation is practicality. Some meats require cooking, chewing, safe storage, and preparation energy. Some viewers may have dental issues, swallowing concerns, heart health goals, digestive limits, or medical advice that changes what fits. Processed meats also have a different health context and should not be treated the same as simple, lean protein foods. So this category ranks high because it can carry protein well. It does not rank higher because the best food is not only the food with the most protein. For this audience, ease, texture, repeatability, and fit matter too. Number 3, fish, especially salmon, sardines, and canned fish. Fish earns the 3rd spot because it can do more than one job. It is a protein anchor. Some fish also provide nutrients, such as vitamin B12 and vitamin D, depending on the type and preparation. Cooked salmon, for example, is often roughly 22 to 25 grams of protein per 100 grams. That makes fish useful from a recovery supportive point of view. But fish needs careful framing. It is tempting to talk about salmon or sardines as anti-inflammatory foods and then imply they fix tired legs. That is not the promise here. Fish may support a nutrient-rich eating pattern. It may help provide protein. It may add useful nutrients, but it does not diagnose or cure leg fatigue. The practical side is mixed. Canned salmon, sardines, or tuna can be easier than cooking fresh fish. They can go on toast, into salads, with potatoes, into rice bowls, or alongside soup. For some people, canned fish is one of the simplest ways to add protein with little cooking. But there are limits. Some canned products are higher in sodium. Mercury varies by fish type. Allergies matter. Cost and taste matter. Some people simply do not like fish, and a useful eating pattern should not depend on a food someone will not eat. The role here is protein plus nutrient variety. Fish ranks above poultry because it brings a distinct nutrient profile and can be practical when canned options fit. It ranks below the top two because eggs and soft dairy options may be easier, cheaper, or more repeatable for many viewers. Number 2. Eggs. Eggs are simple, familiar, soft, and quick. That combination matters. One large egg has about 6 grams of protein. That makes eggs useful, but it also shows their limit. One egg is usually not a full protein anchor for an older adult meal. If the goal is to get closer to the often discussed 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal, that does not make eggs weak. It means eggs are often best as a bridge, a starter, or part of a meal. Eggs can be especially helpful at breakfast. Many people do not struggle to get protein at dinner. They struggle at breakfast or lunch. Toast and coffee may be easy, but they may not do much for muscle support. Adding eggs can make that meal more recovery supportive without turning breakfast into a project. Eggs can also help when chewing is an issue, when cooking energy is low, or when someone wants something warm and quick. The limitation is individual guidance. Some people have egg allergies. Some people have been given specific cholesterol or heart health advice. The right pattern can vary. So the role here is simple protein support. Eggs rank near the top because they are practical. They do not win because they are magical. They win because they can help close a common gap. The small, low-protein meal that looks normal but may not support recovery very well. And now we come to number 1. The top food is not the most dramatic. It is the category that best combines protein, softness, repeatability, and low effort. Number 1. Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. Greek yogurt and cottage cheese take the top spot because they fit the ranking criteria unusually well. They are protein-dense. They are soft. They require little or no cooking. They can work at breakfast, as a snack, or as part of a light meal. For many older adults, that practicality is not a small detail. It is the difference between knowing what would be ideal and actually eating something useful. Plain Greek yogurt is roughly around 10 grams of protein per 100 grams in many food composition references. Low-fat cottage cheese is roughly around 12 grams per 100 grams, though exact values vary by product. Those numbers matter because they show why this category can work as a protein anchor more easily than many foods that only sound healthy. But the bigger point is daily life. If someone comes home from errands and does not want to cook, Greek yogurt with fruit and oats can cover several roles at once: protein anchor, energy support, and meal completion. Cottage cheese with a potato, fruit, whole grain, toast, or vegetables can do something similar. These are not fancy meals. That is part of their value. After 60, chewing, oral health, appetite, living situation, routines, and cooking energy can all shape food intake. A food that looks perfect on paper may not help much if it is hard to chew, too expensive, or difficult to prepare. Greek yogurt and cottage cheese rank first because they are repeatable. The limitations are real. Dairy does not work for everyone. Lactose intolerance, allergy, personal tolerance, sodium in cottage cheese, saturated fat differences, and medical diets all matter. Some people may prefer fortified soy alternatives or other protein anchors. So number 1 is not a universal command. It is the best fit for this recovery role ranking: soft, practical, protein-rich, and easy to combine with other foods. What food cannot tell you about tired legs? Before turning this list into a personal checklist, we need to separate food support from symptoms that deserve attention. Tired legs can happen after activity. They can also relate to sleep, hydration, medication effects, circulation, nerves, injury, illness, or other medical issues. Nutrition is only one part of the picture. A calm safety rule is useful here. If leg symptoms are new, sudden, severe, one-sided, worsening, unexplained, or come with swelling, redness, fever, a cold or pale leg, or pain that gets worse with walking or exercise and improves with rest, that is a reason to contact a qualified professional. Persistent symptoms should not be explained away with yogurt, eggs, or potatoes. This does not mean every tired leg day is an emergency. It means food should not be asked to do the job of medical evaluation. That boundary makes the food advice more trustworthy. When food stays in its proper role, it becomes useful again. The final recovery roll framework. Here is the practical takeaway. Do not ask only, is this food healthy? Ask, what role is missing? If the meal has no real protein anchor, foods like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, eggs, fish, poultry, lean meat, tofu, tempeh, fortified soy milk, beans, or lentils may help fill that role. If the meal is too light after activity, oats, whole grains, potatoes, sweet potatoes, beans, lentils, fruit, or other carbohydrate-containing foods may help refill energy. If fluids and appetite are part of the problem, soups, stews, smoothies, yogurt, fruit, and other fluid-containing foods may help the meal go down more easily. And if the meal is narrow, colorful vegetables and fruit can help complete the pattern. That is the point of the ranking. Recovery supportive eating after 60 is not about chasing one miracle food. It is about building meals that are easier to repeat. One protein anchor, one energy refiller, enough fluid, and something that completes the plate. Some days, that might be yogurt, oats, and berries. Some days, soup with beans and vegetables. Some days, eggs with whole grain toast. Some days, fish with a potato and greens. The best choice is the one that fits your body, your appetite, your medical needs, and your real kitchen. Food alone does not fix tired legs, but the right food roles can support the body more steadily, especially when paired with appropriate movement, rest, hydration, and medical guidance when needed. To make this practical, notice which role is hardest for you most often: protein, energy, fluids, or finishing a complete meal. That answer may be more useful than memorizing any single food on the list.